Welcome to Off the Clock. I'm Kelle, hairstylist, creative, faith-filled, and figuring it out. This is where we talk purpose, pivots, and pressure no one posts. No highlight reels, just the real in between. Let's get into it. This episode of Off the Clock is brought to you by our great friends at Kelle, the complete salon. The ones keeping the girls laid, not stressed. Whether you're overdue for a trim or need you a nice cut in color or a full-blown soft life install, Kelle, the complete salon is here to remind you this is where healthy hair lives. Tap the link in the show notes to book your next appointment and tell them Off the Clock sent you. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Clock with Kelle. I am your host, and here is where we talk about the real life in between, not just the highlight reel. Hey girl, hey! Oh my gosh, I've missed you. Mwah. I hope your week has been amazing. What are you currently doing right now? I hope you are snowed up, listening to me in your favorite spot or on the way driving somewhere and just tuning in. Regardless, I am so happy that you are here with me today. So today is episode 3. Like I told you guys in the teaser beforehand, the title is Nobody Taught Me How to Run a Business in a Life. It's funny because we're talking about today how, it turns out being the boss is cute until you realize you cannot call out yourself. So I cannot wait to dive right in. This episode, like all, are fully transparent and they're gonna talk at you a bit. Hopefully we're able to talk about some things that you yourself may be able to resonate with, or just somebody around you, just conversations that you may have been in and you're like, dang, I remember this coming up. So yes, today really thinking about who was supposed to teach me this. Who was supposed to teach me how to run a business and run my life. Being the youngest, I feel like I was able to kind of learn from everybody else's experiences. So a lot of things weren't necessarily intentionally taught. They were, some things are taught, some things are caught. And so I think in that aspect, it was one of the things that I was supposed to catch. But when being in the midst of that now and realizing how scary that is, because there is no steps. There aren't steps to tell you I feel like there may be a book that'd be like, hey, balance, work-life balance. But being an entrepreneur and still having to show up in every other aspect of your life was not something that I felt like I was sat down and said, hey, this is how you do it. I just seen that my mom was juggling everything, or seen that my dad was juggling everything, or siblings or people around me. And I just was like, dang, they're just getting it done. Definitely not sitting them down like, hey, so what does your calendar look like this week? And how exactly are you able to fit all of these things in? Now, I can say from working, getting into my field, being a virtual assistant, working with my clients, I was able to see how they were able to manage their work life with balance. How they were able to do speaking engagements or show up for their company and then still pour into themselves, scheduling things that were important to them, how exactly that may have looked. However, I still was never sat down and taught about that. I just simply was able to kind of be like, hey, this is what I need, this is what I'm doing, and I just seen it for what it was for them. And so I'm like, wow, I like what it's doing for them, the energy that they give them throughout the day when they're tracking how to go in and make sure that their tasks aren't fully taking up their energy at the beginning of the day, rather than using a high energy task for the middle of the day where they have more, realizing that you could literally map out every aspect of your life and change every aspect of your life depending on what you wanted it to look like. So something that I really think about is, why does building your own dream feel like it's draining the life it's supposed to fund? I feel like constantly I am trying to do brick by brick of what I want my life to look like. However, it's just where the money? Where that money at, Lashandra? Hello? Where am I supposed to get all of these funds to be able to provide this lifestyle that I want? Not even that. Even the career that I want to go in, having the extra resources to go to seminars, go to conferences and things like that, and really pour into me. You have to have that money, that squatter. You see what I'm saying? You do. And don't get me wrong, to really confess my messy, I do hair, content, school, podcasting. Chats, I got an eating page out there too, but I don't market that because I just go on there to eat. Like, I just love, if I want to sit up the phone one day and eat my food, like, I just will, and I'll post it on there. But it's crazy because, like, while I'm overwhelmed, I still am showing up. But it's like, that can be a lot. And that's who this episode is for. This is for the girls who are overwhelmed but still showing up. Like, it's so funny to me because I really thought that I would find all this freedom, find this freedom in just being an entrepreneur. I thought freedom would be so much cuter than what it is right now. It became so evident to me that, like, oh, I signed myself up to have more deliverables than what I currently have going on every week, every Tuesday, because I wanted to get out of my funk of just being complacent. Oh, okay, this podcast is going to require a little bit more out of me than what I realized. And so that fantasy of no 9 to 5, working from anywhere, creative freedom, and full calendar equals full pockets, it comes with a lot. It comes with realizing that if you're the brand and the business, you need to be pouring back into you. That burnt out season and burnt out place that you're trying to create from is not going to even be a product or a piece of work that you're proud of because you're so burnt out. This isn't even your creative or artistic vision. You're doing this to just give, just like you can survive working a 9 to 5 from check to check, you can literally just be turning in deliverables as a creative. You know what you're capable of doing. That's why they gave you the job. However, if you're sulking and sitting in that rather than leaning into, like, I need some time for me. I think I may need to do this for me so my work can be what it needs to be. For example, my podcast. Y'all know that this is my audio journal. We know that this is episode 3, and episode 3 and 4 are dropping at the same time because I was a week behind. Not only did life show up, the way in which I felt like I needed to be in those situations, I was not going to be able to come on here and not talk to y'all, but I wasn't going to be able to come on here and give y'all what I wanted, what I needed. This was going to be a therapy session. This was going to be just a bunch of, it wasn't going to have substance. I was going to be sitting here mainly talking through the things that I needed to get through before I put this episode out. And so I was very intentional with not beating myself up like, dang, you ain't put your episode 3 out. Have you done episode 4 yet? But it's simply about the fact that this was a passion project for me. So since I was passionate about it, I wasn't going to allow myself to get burned out. I was going to allow myself to do the things that filled me, not only spiritually, but emotionally, physically. What makes me happy? What did I do? I made sure that I had my nails done. I made sure I put on my makeup. Y'all can't even see me, but that makes me feel good, being able to talk to y'all and feel good. You know, like, I look good. I always have a little episode when I always have a little outfit when I record my episode. I'm not sitting in my normal place where, like, anywhere that I can lounge at. I'm strictly in a place where I create and work. And so that puts me in a place where, like, I can give y'all my full, you know? And so bringing it back to just romanticizing the grind and the season that I feel like we're in, and just the era that I feel like we're all leaning in. Everybody want to grind. And we have romanticized just work hard, you play hard. But, like, when do you rest hard? Truly, like, when does, reality come into play and you realize you're the CEO, the assistant, the social media manager, the therapist, the maintenance crew, and that's every day, and you need a little rest, Like, when exactly do you sit back and say, hey, and this goes into everything. If I can't pour into me, how can I pour into everyone else? And I think because of the parasocial relationship that we have with social media in general, we may just feel like, oh, I'm showing up, so that's fine. Like, they lucky they get this out of me. No. Somebody who, and I always talk about Black creators in my episodes, specifically women, because one, baby, this will be a place that multiple people will be able to come showcase their platforms, speak about who they are, their stories, and I want to always set the tone from day one of who I value and what Off the Clock with Kelle values. A creator called, I think she's Kira Monet or Kira Monique, something like that. And I'll put it in the comments. She is very intentional about her content. it's never just the, oh, let me post this video and it has no substance, it has no concept. Every video she puts out has a concept, and it's like, I'm not gonna lie, it really changed the trajectory of content on TikTok at one point. Because if we think about it, that's who started the 0.5. How everybody is walking around with their 0.5, turning the camera around, that's what started the 0.5. Then from there, she stopped doing the 0.5s and she started making more cinematic movies or movie style like content. Beautiful, blissful. That's where it was like, oh. And I started to see what being the brand and the product look like, but how being intentional could take you. Because I would see people with her same platform that I feel like didn't put maybe the same amount of effort into their content, but then they're the same creators who may not talk about how. Let's vibe for a second. This episode is sponsored by Love is Lit, the candle company that said healing is sacred, but let it smell sexy. Whether your vibe is deep conditioning and boundaries or I'm journaling and minding my business, these candles were made for soft resets in real life. Hand-poured, toxin-free, and emotionally supportive because love is lit, and your apartment should be too. Tap the link in the show notes and use the code OFFTHECLOCK for a little treat. Go ahead, like one. You earned it. Having the same brand deals or being in spaces and conversations where they feel like they add value. And I felt like even still, you never know when people are dealing with burnout, but even how much content she puts out, it's not as much because quantity over quality. And that speaks to the burnout that I feel like we all may be experiencing. Like, story time. So the day, it was like, I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago, I'm crying while scheduling content. I'm doing hair and I haven't eaten all day. Like, I am like, okay, like, all right, God, I still got homework. I'm managing all the businesses in this family. So of course I'm sending invoices. I'm doing X, Y, and Z for all the businesses that I am, overseeing and managing. And I'm like, oh no. Like, I felt so overwhelmed. I wanted to stop my clients here. I'm like, I'm not posting nothing. And then I had to reel it back in. Okay, let's schedule this stuff out. Let's batch create. Let's take some time. Let's just realize what my capacity is for the day. What is my capacity for this week? And how exactly can I transform my capacity into real results? Because I know for me, sometimes I'll sit back and be like, I can do this week and still don't do it. And knowing that that's what I'm fully equipped and readily able to do. But I still am like, because there's no plan to transform that capacity into real results, it doesn't happen. And recognizing, I don't want to say weakness, but kind of recognizing what that was for me and being able to turn that around was something that was huge. Because like I said, and what this podcast is about is pivoting. If you can realize that you are in a burnout rut, or you can realize that, okay, I'm being fulfilled, but I am also pouring a lot out of my cup and I'm not filling my cup. What can I do? What do I need to do? And from there, I feel like you're so far ahead than anybody else, because that's real spill. That's introspection. That's really looking in and leaning in on what you need and not relying on what social media may look like me to need, what my manager or these people or the brands that I'm dealing with may need. You have to communicate so much of what you need, because you are the product. You're the product and you're what they're gonna need at the end of the day. So if you're sitting here operating out of burnout, what exactly does your result look like? And I think we have to be honest, like calling out that lie that everybody has set forth within this generation around this topic, the freedom that, that came with wanting a manual. Like, it doesn't come with the manual, baby. It comes with anxiety if you're not careful, for real. But in that, knowing that you shouldn't be anxious for anything, but also realizing that anxiety can be swept away with planning. So this allowed me, starting my podcast, going back to school, even moving away, it allowed me to be so much more intentional with my life, with my future, what all was important to me, and not wanting to be, realizing that I couldn't be anything for anybody if I was burnt out. Not a girlfriend, not a daughter, not a cousin, not a good friend. And I have been taking the necessary steps back. And I love it. I love the people around me who realize, oh, Kelle just need her time right now. We pick back up like nothing happens. And of course, I feel like people don't talk about how burnout can make you feel like a shitty friend. Burnout can make you feel like a horrible friend, can make you feel like a horrible partner, can make you feel like a horrible family member, because you don't even have enough to give yourself, but you're so used to pouring for everybody else that it's like, dag, you now feel guilty about how you show up originally when that wasn't healthy in the first place. Like, make it make sense. You're beating yourself up for showing up in a way that you didn't even like, that you showed up like that to begin with. So I think having to get out of the mindset of leaning into their lie. Like, the freedom you wanted does not come with a manual, baby. It doesn't. You are quite literally creating the life that you want for yourself based on what you're doing. There's not an ebook that can tell you, like, you could feel like you're in a place that the person that's selling you the book, like, I was just here, I had this, I was just doing that. And you can feel like you're in the exact same position. But what's for you will be for you. Your freedom and your breakthrough moment won't necessarily come at the same time as theirs did. It won't come at the same time as that ebook gave you that timeline. It will come once you lean into the fact that I have to take care of me for this to even work and pop off, period. You know? And so, thinking about, like, what nobody taught me, you know, like how to balance ambition with boundaries, how to manage my money when it came in waves, how not to feel guilty while resting, how to still feel like a woman and not just a walking to-do list, like how to create a life rhythm when everything else felt like a fire drill. Truly sitting back and realizing that, like, I can be all that I want to be. I can do all that I want to do. Whatever is in his will for me, I'm going to do. But if I am not willing to tell the next person that may want something out of me while God is pushing me to do this deliverable for my passion project, that, hey, I don't have the capacity for that. I don't have any boundaries. Where does that ambition go? Where does it then turn into I'm going, and I'm showing up for everybody else, that I don't have any boundaries, and now I'm burnt out. Now I can't even produce in the things that were meant for me to even show up in, because I've done all of what I need to do for everybody else. I done made sure everybody else's business was good. I done made sure everybody else that had their deliverables. I've been the assistant to everybody else. And so when it comes time to do stuff for me, I'm on the back end. No, the boundary had to be set. Hey, I'm shooting this week. I'm actually busy. What I have going on for off the clock probably is going to take precedent for, what we have going on. And so I need this to be, this is going to be priority for me this week. So whatever you may need from me, hey, just, send it over and we can talk about how exactly I can execute that between this and this time. Baby, that came with life. That came with life. Do you know how many times I committed to things I could not do, all because of what I wanted, all because of how I wanted to be perceived, how I wanted that person to look at me and value how much I was going so hard for them, to turn around and them not give a damn about what I had going on? No, ma'am. Or to turn around and them offer me help. But I am so resentful in the way in which it happened, because it didn't come out how I did it. I just did it full force. I hit the ground running with it, and that's how I showed up for you. But yours didn't look like that. And so I had to sit in the fact that I'm going to either resent you or set boundaries. And I love you enough to set boundaries for me so we can have a valuable relationship, And that was business, family, and romantic. And friends. And platonic. Like, that had to come across every aspect, because you can pour, and I know I've been saying this, but you can pour to the point it's nothing left. And I know we didn't all sat in that before, whether it be friends, family, romantic, platonic, it really, it can be a thing in business specifically. When you are passionate about something, maybe more than someone else, it can come across like they may not be doing all of what you're doing. And so another thing can creep up in there and sit in there. But if you set those boundaries, you're not giving any room for anything that you're uncomfortable with, or any room for resentment to creep in to happen. Because you've already said, this is what I can do and this is what I'm willing to do. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This boundary is for me and you. For real, for real. Like, thinking about the fact that, like, how do you manage this money when it's coming in waves? When the brand deals for 3 months and then the next 3 months there's no brand deals, or when the commission for this has happened and that's not going, like, and then it stops, or when you booked and busy, when the clients are coming every week, but then they stop. How do you manage this? Okay, well then how do me not having this amount this week not affect how I'm going to carry myself? Learning how to have a great relationship with money. People don't realize how important that is. Everybody worry about their relationship with everybody else but with money. How do you feel when you spend money? I was watching this billionaire on a podcast. Mind you, that's what I want to listen to. I want to listen to people who are in positions that I want to be in. So I'm listening to this wealth podcast, and he's like, how do you feel when you spend money? Like, genuinely think about it. When you get money back, how do you feel? Are you happy? He says thank you every time he spends money. Not even just, it's just out loud, like, thank you. Because I even was able to have the money for this particular problem. Or I was even put in a position where I didn't have to want or need. And realizing and fixing my relationship with money has made me value it so differently. I no longer put it on a pedestal. It no longer can affect how I show up. Because, like I said, you learn how to manage it in waves. Beforehand, if you don't have the steps to carry out a business and understand that there will be slow moments, and you'll have your high and peak seasons, and then you'll have you slow. But learning how to take care of that as an entrepreneur, that adds to your arsenal. That is a tool in your arsenal, because either you know it and you're able to kind of like, okay, I know what to do. I'm not going to stress out about this. Or you don't know it and you're burnt out. And now I'm hustling, but you're hustling backwards. You know? Like, and then it's like, after that, you tired. When it's time for you to show up in other places, you feeling guilty about how you even showing up. Because you want to rest. But you know you got to do this. You know you didn't commit to that. And it's so much harder to say, hey, I don't think I can make it to this, because you're the person that always shows up. You're the person who always makes sure that things are taken care of. You're the person who is like, all right, they didn't already let you know that somebody else didn't come in the midnight hour, so they really depended on you. Let me make sure that I'm here. That is a lot. Hell, I'm only 23. And I used to think being overwhelmed meant I wasn't organized. But no. Like, now I know that it just meant I was doing too much for one person. Like, I was literally feeling like a walking to-do list. All right, I need to do this in the morning. I need to do that. I need to do that. And once I did that, I would feel fulfilled. But it's like I would be essentially taking care of myself, but it would literally feel like steps, instructions, like, and I don't even feel the benefits of it in the moment. Like, I don't feel like I'm being taken care of while I'm doing my skincare. I just know, okay, I just did my skincare. Check. Like, that is no way to live. It felt like I was surviving in my own content. Where people feel like they survive in their 9 to 5, you can literally just survive in your content as well. So, creating a life rhythm that felt like, oh, this aligns with me. Okay. I still feel fulfilled and know that I'm getting things done. So, once I got out of the mindset of just hustling and being okay with, the hustle culture, I realized I can't build the life I want while destroying myself at the same time. Like, I needed to see what boundaries looked like when I was a boss. Like, what boundaries are you going to set with you being the CEO? What does burnout feel like when you don't have PTO? Like, realizing that it was going to take some things and I needed to check in with myself. Like, are you building a business or are you building a prison with pretty branding? Because, like, you're excited to have these things jump off and go on, but are you, like, is this sustainable? Is this profitable? Is this viable for you being happy and somebody being able to come back behind you and pick up your business and do this without you being around? So giving myself permission to restructure what I thought success looked like helped me a great deal. I did a 360 because restructuring what success looks like to you will have you compartmentalizing things and actions that you didn't do before. If I want to be X, Y, and Z in 30, not even 30 years, 5 years, 3 to 5 years, what am I doing to contribute to that? What things and hobbies and healthy habits am I creating to build that life that I want? Whereas, like, am I just so focused on money, and hustling, that I want to just get the money, but when I get to the money, I'm gonna look like Frankie. No shade, live for her. But, like, what? So, like, remembering that, like, everything does not have to be monetized. Quite frankly, that was the grace that I gave myself with Off the Clock. This would be, like, I feel like the most profitable business venture that I've taken. But the fact that I did not go into it immediately like, money. This was a passion project for me. And so, yeah, like, it didn't need to be monetized, but it did need to happen. It did need to happen. And that was that. Like, it needed to happen. Off the Clock needed to happen for me. I needed this space. I wanted this space. And I was going to take advantage of it. It was a couple of things that I promised myself when making this. And it was mainly 2 things. Not everything I did would be monetized, or we would definitely be given back. And then everything didn't need to be optimized either. So if it wasn't meant for the camera, if it wasn't meant to be on the mic for Off the Clock, if it wasn't meant to be in a project that I had, I wasn't going to post it. I wasn't going to put it out there, because I think that we've lost the ambiance of privacy. I think we've lost the excitement of things being close and them only mattering to the people who they should matter to. Like, we have done a very scary job of trying to make everything that's important to one person important to all. And in that, don't get me wrong, it's a couple of things that I feel like we could all stand together on and support. However, if we are all thinking and agreeing and wanting to do the same things without a thought of difference or creativity, are we robots? And what exactly is that going to look like? It's going to look like self-sacrifice and burnout. So I wasn't willing. I wanted to be intentional, and I wanted this to be my audio journal. I wanted it to reflect where I was in every week, in every stage of my life. And yeah, so I hope that with this season of my life, it's really just teaching me how to live. Like, I am doing a lot, but I'm doing way better than I think. And for that, I'm happy. I am patting myself on the back constantly, because the work will always be there, but you have to make sure that you are too. So if I can commit to pouring into me and also prioritizing my deliverables as well with things that align with me, I am. And something that I promised myself was, if I lose my peace building it, it's not success. It's survival. And I'm no longer surviving. So I hope that resonated with you. I love you, Diva, from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Next week on episode 4, we'll be talking about the hustle obsession, because rest isn't lazy. It's required. I love you, and I hope next week you're able to answer something for me. The prompt that we'll end with this week is, what exactly is contributing to your burnout? And how can you change it? Thank you for coming. See you next week on Off the Clock with Kelle. Love. Mwah.